It's like 3 minutes, but the original song is on like minute and a half, minute 20.
Wow. But it was also the timing, man. Once really? It was the record was already doing so well.
Yeah.
There was a controversial social piece to it because he was black trying to do country. That helped build up a lot.
Yeah.
And then of course when he shared, his preference, his sexual preference, it was over.
Yeah.
And then it became.
You think it was? You think it was over?
No, I mean over as far as his impact was sealed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Oh no, not over negative. Come
That's
down,
why I was like, no. I was just like, because I was wondering, like, some people be thinking about that. Like, I feel like if anything, that it has improved his career.
Yeah, I was about to say in this era for you to still think like that is.
Unfortunately, people do.
Your sexual preference is inconsequential.
Yeah, you've been rolling. Go
ahead. So I need you on
Frank
here.
Frank, I think his career diminished a little.
So y'all already know, man. We.
But again, it's a timing thing. When Frank Ocean came out for some reason, they were still very on the fence about how. It's not that people are on the fence about how they feel. It's people are on the fence about how they want the world to feel about how they feel. How they look to everybody based on what they so that's why the PC
but here's the reason why perception is
perception but that's why
perception is key, and this is why a lot of people right now are leaning towards the whole perception with social media because they care what people think. You understand? So, but I just want to say thank you for everybody because we're here in the Artistry on the road. Y'all already know we got G Outakaractr, V-Henny, and who we got in the building right now? We're gonna be talking our shit real quickly,
Well, we got Zeyi, More Value, Harlem, NYC. Happy to be here.
We got Joe the Poet out from the Bronx. We know I'm bi-coastal. I'll be all over the world.
We have ChosenKing, Brooklyn, New York, Flatbush, representing for all the people who are feeling, make you feel.
All this. Volume up too.
Oh.
Yeah, remember, volume is always better louder.
Cool.
Okay. All right, so we got Nicky T, the long-haired poet, via Harlem, via Uptown, actually. Uptown, that's where it's really at. So, we out here. It's a New York takeover in ATL.
It really is.
Yes, it is.
You got V-Henny, we got Outakaractr. Yeah, I want to know, though, is it everybody's first time being at A3C?
Yeah. First time at A3C. Not Atlanta, but, the festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Yours?
is this the second or
It's 10th.
No,
he a veteran. You gotta remember.
I think it's the third. I think it's the third.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just been so many times.
Might be the second. I think it's the second.
So
yeah.
if this is your second time here,
Yeah.
what has changed so far?
Yeah.
So. Your first time?
Oh wow. Just where I've been at, specifically, musically, how far along, how much traction I feel that I've made creatively, just a growth aspect. That's one thing, and then another thing that's changed is it's everything is refined. You're gonna get a better performance, a better, more confidence. And things like that. Okay. And this time we got the passes.
Yeah,
first time we came out the A3C the first time we made a mistake. There's a lot of valuable resources here. They got panels with all kinds of different people, and you're upcoming artists. You know what I mean? Like we want to take advantage of a lot of different things. We want to soak in, and just meet people, be around the energy. So, a lot of times I think us as artists, right? We want it so bad, and we see. It's so clear to us, like some of the things that come with putting the work in, such as you no longer have to pay to get into panels or festivals or whatever it may be, or for a show.
Cockiness in the ass.
Right, exactly, and that comes.
But I don't even think that's cockiness. That came from hard work.
Right,
it does.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I feel like you still have to humble yourself down.
There's a level of humility that you still have to walk in because at any given moment in time, you could either be where you were yesterday.
Right.
At any given moment in time, you could lose it. Like,
right.
There should be. I feel like to have the cockiness is counterproductive. Why would you? Because in having the cockiness, when you start to arrive and when you start to grow, you're literally the opposite of who you were when you started to strive and push to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So you start to lose yourself. Yeah.
Fans really, really pay attention to who you are when they start following you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like, I feel like when a lot of people, they go mainstream, and like, especially like musical artists, everything like that, you go mainstream and then you go through this like corporate machine, so to speak, and then the people that originally followed you, and from the jump are like, wait, this ain't you. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's a lot of artists that I follow that they went through the corporate machine, and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I remember who you are. Not this person that you have to have a persona with and keep up with.
Not to take the combo off of us, but it is the artistry, so I still gotta take this shit. Do you guys put a person like Cardi B in that category then? Because of the way that her music is being received or what's expected of her? Like you just spoke about you hear a person you had a person one way, they went through corporate and then they got spit out and came back another way, right? Now is her like and I use her as a prime example only because she's Tekashi without going to jail in my opinion. You know what I mean? But she is the streets. It's not like she's a facade like him. She is the streets. But where do you go with a facade if that's your label? You know, all the music she's been making, I haven't.
Have you listened to all of it? If I can ask.
But when she gets on fucking her Instagram Live and sells Access Hollywood, suck my dick, I'm like, oh, Cardi's there.
But okay, so
in her music, I don't feel Cardi the way I felt Cardi.
Well, no. Well, you're saying a lot of things, but to go back to the first thing that you started with, as far as how do we feel about Cardi as an artist, I feel like Cardi shows duality, and that's being honest. I feel like because she is truly showing herself. Like how we treat anybody who is showing you themselves, we either like her or we don't.
Or we don't, yeah.
And I feel like it's based on your personality, and there's going to be certain qualities about her that you don't like, and it'll force you to focus on those more.
I was
because
musically though.
No. I'm responding to everything you said because you said when she goes online and all of these other things. So it's important that you said that because unfortunately, as artists, we have the responsibility of we can't just focus on music. Well, beyond that, we can't just focus on music. No. Because you're saying musically, and this is what a lot of right, and that's what I'm saying. And no, but I'm using him as an example. He's saying musically, yet if you listen to all of the examples, they weren't just music.
No, they weren't.
And that's why it's like you do have to address all of it. So Cardi, she shows herself as suck my dick, but at the same time, she'll start talking about poli-sci and start talking about political science in a way that most artists don't even grasp or even care to speak about. Yeah. But it's just that the media, like you said, perception, because you've been presented as this, and this is what you were initially marketed as, and this is what made you initially receptive to the viewers. We are going to focus on that angle, just like it's building a narrative.
So now, speaking of which, so like, what are your angles towards your brand for each every one of you guys? Honestly,
I like Joe's size, so I think Joe should go first.
What's your angle?
Talk to Jay.
Honestly, for me, I think because I'm doing this by myself, I tend to often get lost in a mix of what I should do and what I shouldn't be doing as far as marketing my brand. I tend to overthink a lot of things because it's like, damn, I should be doing this, but because I don't have nobody to help me out, I gotta fall back and then do this. Okay. So,
do you think that's one of the reasons that's keeping you stagnant within your craft?
No, definitely is. It is because I can't work on my music the way I want to because I still gotta go outside and network. I still gotta spend numerous of hours emailing people, answering back, researching, mixing my own vocals because people want to take their sweet time and getting back to me. So it's like, if everything is created from a deadline, I'm not going to meet the deadline waiting on people. So I got to continue and then try to prioritize myself in order to get the full capacity that I can possibly give out to the world. So like me being out here, I should be working on my album. I haven't worked on an album in like 3 years.
Why not? Because
I've been trying to get myself out there to the public eye. So I did like 3 singles, and then I'm taking those 3 singles and then pushing it everywhere while working on other things at the same time.
All right. Now, this is your first time here, right?
Yeah.
Yours as well?
Yes.
Yours? Like first time being A3C?
Yeah.
What have you learned so far?
I've learned that people are more engaging, and I don't know, is it because we went to the conference, so everybody knows what we're here for.
Okay.
But a lot of.
But what did you take from what you learned? You just mentioned right now you don't have a team. You're jet. You have to do like everything.
It's funny.
But what did you take from that? So now, like, what did you take from everything? You just went to the panels and everything, and what are you gonna apply to?
Just I guess trying to find those who have the same vision as mine. Try to, I guess really buckle down and try to find what I need from each individual in order for me, well, then at that point, in order for us to succeed. Because I feel like once you have a team, I'm no longer an individual player. So I want to be able to help you, help me at the same time. So it's like, what can I do for you? I mean, you might be great at mixing.
Help you.
Pretty much. You know what I mean? So if you're great at mixing, all right, cool. Now, what can I do for you? If you want me to help promote you? That's fine. I could promote you. That's not a problem. Okay. So that just, and when I went to the panels, I was asking everybody, how do you find the right team?
Somebody just text me that.
Oh,
yeah.
How do you find the right people to be around you without you feeling like you're wasting time? Because I don't have time to waste. I'm 30 years old. I mean, I feel like although people have taken their careers off after like 35, 37 years old, but my mentality said like I've been doing this for a long time, and it has been a long time, but it feels like a long time.
Don't you think that unfortunately, successful people will say this. Successful people will say that you can't put a measure on the amount of time that you put in order to be successful. My nigga, we could get it at 50, 60, 70, 80. You can't put it like...
You can't... I was going to say, you can't, like...
That's what successful people say.
I was going to say, well, I think it's a matter of word choice there. I love words, my fault. But I think it's a matter of word choice. It's not that you can't, you shouldn't. Because you can. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yes, you know what I mean.
And realistically, to an extent, you should put a framework. Yes. There should be not a checklist, because you'll always have things to check off the list and you'll never feel like you'll be done. So it's counterproductive. But you should have timetables, benchmarks, and a timestamp next to it. That's right. That's flexible and within reason. But you should not make that concrete in your mind. Because the minute that you make that concrete in your mind, two things can happen. You can completely cheat yourself out of something that was meant to be a part of that timeline. But because you did not structure it in there, you're not necessarily looking for it.
Okay, so now what did you take so far from this trip? And what are you planning on applying to your craft?
Oh, well, from what I've seen so far, I've taken a lot of reaffirmations or confirmations of things that I already knew. Okay. Before being an artist or performing consistently as ChosenKing, this is year 4 or 5 for me. I was always curating, working behind the scenes. That's how I met a lot of you. And because of my faith, I've also always within my faith, you are the vessel that can be utilized for great things. But despite the great things coming out of you, it's not about you.
Okay.
And when you truly believe that, like in your heart, sometimes as an artist, as a secular artist, it creates a bit of a conflict in time and in yourself, which literally affects the speed of your process as an artist, which affects your timetable. Because it's like, I know, objectively, I know how to do this, whether I learned it at church or at a mosque or whether I learned it through my faith and my rituals or being West Indian or whatever. I know how to do certain things. I know how to move. You give us something to do, because I think all of us are Afro-Caribbean here to an extent, or Afro-Latino. You give us something to do, we make it happen out of nothing. So why is it then when it came to my personal dream, I knew how to do that, but I wasn't fully applying that. So
it's probably the way you maybe it's like how you grew up?
Well, no, because I'm not conditioned. Because if I was conditioned, I couldn't objectively, point to that. So it's not a condition. It's a choice at this point to walk that balance. But in that, not make excuses. Okay. And that's part of the thing. Not just because you humble and you're overthinking and you want to be sure, don't excuse yourself out of your moment. Literally, what I learned here by being here, literally by making the choice to be here, that was a learning experience, because your presence sets you up for the platform and the opportunity. Yeah. And it's literally like blessings. Sometimes the blessings are already there, but you're just not lined up. You over here taking care of all this other stuff, and your moment is right there, and it's been right there, and you've been ready. You just haven't been in the right place. And being in the right place is literally just one moment. It's between wanting and making a choice. And I remember you said, how does it tie into your brand? My brand is about examining the choices in our narratives, how they make us all the same, but how one choice can change everything. And for me, this is one of those one choices as an artist that's legit changing everything for me, because I was already moving. But something about when you get people outside of your sphere, and that's the importance of the conference. When you get people outside of your sphere, your circle, different life backgrounds, different challenges, different narratives that are completely different from yours, and they're saying truths to you that you've thought of it in your head, but you dead ass told yourself, maybe I'm bugging if I try it that way. And you sitting down hearing this person, and now you know that because they said it, everybody's on it now. And in your head, you're like...
Because you're going to look at it more in the aspect like, yo, he's successful, so maybe he is saying this shit.
Right, and it's like, how many more moments do we collectively have to have like that? Where it's like, oh, man. So but that was this for me. This was my final... Nah, I don't need people who's walking around here iced out, set up for life, saying things that I know that me and my people knew for years, bro. And we still not fully moving on it. Nah, go for broke.
You know what's crazy
Make
is
the
that
choice.
when yesterday when I was sitting down in the panel for Gary V, right? So he was he hit me hard, right? Because I was sitting down and he's like, yo, if you haven't popped. He goes, that's your fault.
Yep.
He goes,
sure
he's
that?
like, I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. That's your fault.
Your fault.
I don't care if you don't have a team. I don't care if you don't have that's your fault. And I was just like, that shit hit me hard because I'm working so hard. Like, I'm working so hard to make the artistry pop, make the art of music pop. You understand?
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just like, yo, I took that in and I was just like, you're right, my guy. Like, everything, you know, I understand that we don't have a team and everything like that and stuff like that, but you shouldn't allow that to be an excuse in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're making an excuse, but what I'm saying is that you shouldn't allow that to make that as an excuse.
And I tell you why, but I'll tell you why it's not an excuse for me, because right now I'm actually homeless.
Okay.
I'm living in my car right now.
No, you not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Nah, man. I go to Blink and go shower and take, wash my clothes.
And I already know
that.
how you do.
Right. Like, so I spend money to come out here, money that technically I don't have. Know what I mean? So I know what is about to sacrifice. I know what it is to pursue something and chase something.
I think Mike Loco said it best though. Like when I first got introduced to Mike, he hit me in a way that was like a left jab to the liver. He's like, why you want to make music? So why are you buying a bottle of Henny? Why are you buying an ounce of weed? Why are you going out partying? Why are you doing anything else but putting your money into your music if you want to make music?
Going back to what he said, how many times I told you that? And you don't sometimes listen, you listen to the other person. You understand? Or like you don't even listen to yourself.
No, I put me on some shit last time.
Yo, Mike's a fucking monster. Mike's a monster. He really I give it to Miggs because one thing that I don't know if you guys had, but I can honestly say I didn't have, was direction with this. Like, I had to learn how to do Logic. I had to learn how to do iMovie. I had to learn how to do all these things, right? Nobody was going to show us.
Right.
There is nobody that was going to go ahead and show us how to do anything.
Which one?
The song we was listening to last night.
And even when you try to learn, nobody's trying to help you.
Black.
Yeah, it's
because they all got their own input.
Right.
Everybody has something to say, and it's like it becomes a headache because sometimes you just have to be in your own space to know what's right and what's wrong. You have to be in your own space to know what's right and what's wrong. And the perfect thing about music that we all have an advantage, nothing is right or wrong. But bro, there are songs that I hear sometimes, I'm like, how the fuck am I playing this right now? Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard.
It reaches somebody's sound, right? And you know, because of going back to talking about media, and you know, because of the access. We're in an access era. It's just,
everything's available to us.
Right, but it's weird because it's like anything that has too many options, right?
Yep.
So it's only the most concentrated things that you tend to focus on anyway. So I think of a whole bunch of songs in like the early 2000s that's like dope songs.
Yeah.
But if we step back and ask somebody to name 10 songs from 2000, 2005, they may not name those songs.
Nope, they don't even know.
And it's not that they don't know that person. It's just that there's been so much access since then that, like a computer, it's the most stored thing that your brain's gonna go to first. So it's weird. Like all of these people out, it's not saturation, but
it is saturation.
Yeah.
I feel like you're being nice right now. I think.
No, I'm not being. Well, it's that it.
It is saturation.
But it's also become very easy for you to. Not that any of I'm not this is like no shade or whatever, but I'm just saying in general, it's become so easy for somebody to imitate the person that
The craft.
is right next to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And harder
So
to
you could
discern
have-
between the two.
Yeah, that's like, and that's one of the things I was talking to Mike about. And even though like I didn't get to go to any of the panels, like still talking to Mike was high key like going to my own panel.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you have to realize that there's people who are talented, but they're getting overshadowed by people who are just looking at their pages and saying, okay, I could do that. Boom, boom, they put a track together. Boom, they put it out. And then that person that's talented gets overshadowed. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow, some way they get overshadowed.
But it's like what we mentioned in the car. Talent is like 10% within this.
Shit, I say 5%.
Yeah, I'm being nice. I'm being
right,
nice,
right.
you know, because I think, to me personally, now where I stand, like within, like the more I'm learning within this business,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how dope you are.
But see, the crazy thing is that talent, upon getting in, I feel like it's such a small percentage. But for longevity,
It is.
It's
major.
such-
It's
right.
But
is
here's the
everything.
thing about
You know what I'm saying?
longevity though, and this is where all of it just becomes this weird cycle that music or entertainment as a whole
Okay, go
is
ahead.
in. All of these are dependent upon each other. Your longevity now is subjective because of the oversaturation.
Yes.
Right.
The
absolutely.
We
oversaturation
live in a
of
world
people. There's
everything is instant
there's a
gratification.
1,000
Right.
people on your
Literally.
block that
Instant.
now can sound exactly like you, regardless of what the backstory is.
Yeah.
And no one cares about the backstory because they don't have the attention span to. So
Yes.
if I'm out and my creative integrity is not in question anymore because there's someone who's going to listen, like what I said in the beginning, there's someone for
Right.
everybody. But if everybody is now somebody,
Right. Well, so what's
who do we then focus on to
Hey.
then give them the time to listen to the, because your music will create the time and the longevity, but then we got to have the attention to listen to you.
Absolutely. And what's
So-
the remedy? The remedy for monotony is originality.
I was about to say, because
Yeah.
it's just
You
real
know?
life.
So,
Real life, that's
so
a
then
remedy.
then it becomes really. But how hard is it to really
Show that you're
Be
original.
right?
real.
And
Yeah.
well, not even how hard is it to be real.
I think to be
How
original.
hard?
How is it to display
Yeah.
Exactly,
that,
to display
hey,
it.
I'm original without it looking like, hey, I'm original.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
and the thing is, if me, I'm a fan of music. I wouldn't have made music if I wasn't a fan of the art. Now the genres that I listen to now are different than what they were 3 years ago.
Okay.
Go back 6 years ago, they changed. So, but I'm a fan of music. So, how can you not be a fan of a thing? Fan of basketball? How can you not practice fadeaway buzzer threes, 3, 2, 1, because you see it and you emulate, right? So how can you not say that you are part of something much bigger, that you've assimilated, elements of whatever industry, whatever creative industry that you are currently in. You had to see it somehow and be like, yo, that's dope.
And then decide.
And then
See-
make a choice after that to
Okay.
pursue
Choice.
it,
Okay,
right?
correct.
So, but then there crosses a line, and there's that line
What's
where
the line?
where exactly it gets really blurry, where you say, "Yo, I can do this, not myself, my own way."
Okay.
That's
Now-
exactly what I
I
was
feel
going
like
to
that's
say.
a
but I feel like
Right.
it is. But I
Bar.
think it is a bar. But I feel like that's the issue that's going on right now is that everybody thinks they know they're that way,
And that goes back to what I was saying.
and
is,
that can keep you in a standstill. I feel like.
True. Well, then and then we get into bigger things.
Yeah.
Whereas you refine your I think what we say, you refine your craft as much as possible. You bring yourself to a point where you are your true self on record and song composition, and you work on that craft and you hone in that craft, and then you have people in a circle who are transparent with you and you can get sound advice from, all right? And you say, what do you think of this? And you get sound advice, and then you begin to refine. I feel like that also, because music comes out so quickly, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to go through a grinder. And I think the songs that last longer, they run through a couple more ears before they go out.
Right. I think Russ puts out a song like once a week.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's how he
Yeah.
came up.
Yeah.
For 52 weeks, my man Rush put a fucking a song on SoundCloud, and I just had this conversation with you there. Like a lot of artists. I had what's the dude? Level Up. What's Level Up guy? No, you. The guy that sang Level Up. What's his name? Level Up.
Easy does it. Easy does it.
Yo,
yeah.
Easy does it. You know, he said something on a podcast and moved my liver. Because he said he was like, yo, if you're putting music up on SoundCloud, I can't fuck with you. You're not authentic.
Oh,
when he said that, he made it seem like, yeah, Level Up. He's on a different level. He's on another level. How you gonna downplay where music can be heard?
Yeah.
Half of the time I can't even hear the music I want to hear because it's old, or like I can't find Jay-Z on Spotify. You gotta get Jay-Z's all his shit on Tidal.
Yeah.
Everything is so segregated and separate. Like there's.
But that's smarter, Jay. That's his
I'm
platform.
I'm not taking the genius away from it. I'm just stating the fact that you can't take away where you hear music from. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, fucking Tidal, Apple. It don't matter where you receive your music. You should appreciate your music. Russ putting out 52 songs in a year. That's one song a week, and it was just on SoundCloud. What do you got after that? A record deal. How you gonna beat that? How you gonna say it didn't work? Things like that. It's true. Consistency is key.
But wait, can I tie into that because this goes into what you said about longevity? Perfect example, because you literally laid out in a sense what the game is like now, right? So cool. Let's say that this is what it's like, and it's changing literally within every 2 quarters or so. 6 months, the game is different. Cool. Longevity, we already said, suffers not just because of the shallowing of the pool, right? Yeah. But it's also because of the system that gets you there, right? Yeah. And the level of access, again. Like, that's really what it is. Yeah. He has... What makes you inauthentic for being on SoundCloud based on them is because of the access, the commonality.
Well, I didn't pay for SoundCloud.
No, right? No. I'm not agreeing. But that's the mindset. And they have SoundCloud that you pay for, but some people have the mindset that it is, speaking towards being more amateur, and they want it's the paycheck because you paid.
Your opinion, though?
No. I'm saying this is, if we're being realistic, this is an objective opinion. Yeah. You paid, thus you have invested into yourself visibly in a means that I can see and I can judge. So it's not
the right to go ahead and
downplay what's and again, I want to make sure y'all hear, because he's saying the other side, but just in case someone listens at the wrong point in time, I'd like you guys to know that we are agreeing. He's being sarcastic. I'm on SoundCloud, ChosenKing 114.
Nice plug.
Do you write this shit in your head?
No, I just
Yo, you good at it.
I'm a teacher.
To piggyback off of it's fine. But to piggyback off of what you were saying, like with originality. Yeah. So I feel like I'll speak from my perspective. Being a poet and being a poet, you have to have originality. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you can relate.
But what makes you original? I finished and then we get into that.
What
topic.
Makes me original?
Yeah, what makes you
straight up? Yeah. Because I'm not writing about, and this is no shade whatsoever, I'm not writing about the obvious. Okay. I'm not writing about the fact that I'm black in America. Or Trump's America. I'm not writing about the fact that I'm black and I'm broke, or the fact that I'm black and I live in the hood, or that I come from the hood. I'm writing about real life shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you do things like that, that's what makes you stand out. Like when I was speaking with, I had meetings with Sony exec, and he was just like, yo, you got the juice, but we just don't know how we would manage you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was just like, but I've got this all planned out. I know this. I just need, if it comes down to it, I just need a financial backing. Just the resources. To come back into what you were saying, I feel like when you step into, not that I'm trying to separate anybody, but when you step into the musical realm, originality becomes so hard for y'all to do, because like I said, we live in an age where it's so easy for you to imitate the next person or for somebody else to imitate you, and then you got to try 2 times hard. But then some people could be like, oh wow, he's like wild thirsty for this shit, like oh my god, he's doing the most, you know what I'm saying, like releasing a song on SoundCloud every fucking day, you know what I'm saying.
Or you imitate them. Like a lot of times you may not realize it. Like that song might be dope that you just wrote.
But some people
unfortunately
take that,
it's on the same style and flow that is going on.
Exactly, but some people can take you getting inspiration from them as you trying to copy them. And that happened to me a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I'm not trying to copy you. I'm not trying to...
Right.
Like, I've asked artists, like musical artists, all of that. Okay. I've asked musical artists, let's do a collab. I think I told you that. Mm-hmm. Let's do a collab. I feel like it would be, you know, like super dope. Okay. You know what I mean? Now you're trying to steal my following. Now you're trying to like... And it's just like, but...
What's part of the game?
Not stealing intentionally, but... When you collab with a person, right? Like there's a reason why there isn't one individual doing a million things. It's because we're all supposed to be like a body. If you think about it and you put a body together, that then you call it a team. But without the team part, it's still a body. If I do a track with you, 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 and we've done tracks, what happens now? Our fans come into a melting pot.
Yeah, but what he's saying is the fact that he's tried to collab, which is. It's not that you're trying to steal, but you're trying to
those
build.
Artists have the wrong mental. That's gonna happen if you collab with a person.
But then
it shouldn't happen. Not all the time, because I've had artists that they're like, yo, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's get in the studio.
I agree. You shouldn't.
But you have artists that will be like, no, like I know, because you being exposed to my following is gonna take away from my following, and that's how I'm like, if that's how people get down, that's how people get down. But that's not how I get down. I'm doing it because I actually want to do it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Music, though, at the end of the day, I think that people that are biased about not working another person, if they're not on your level, it's different. That's totally different. If they're not on your level, that's fine.
I think when you're in a different place in your life, I think it's okay for you to pick and choose who you want to work with. You understand? Yep. Now there's a difference again, like he mentioned, like if you're not on my level, like I said, pick and choose. But then you have the hater mentality. Where I don't want to work with you because I feel like you will overshine me. Is that I just spoke about this shit yesterday, I believe, where I was like, yo, I hate the fact when people be like, I want to see you do good, but not better than me.
Right? Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So that's where some people.
But that's the life we live, though.
That is a life, but that's what, and I learned, and this, it is, but you cannot take it personally.
Okay, wait, so
absolutely.
Just to jump on that, that's not. Just to jump on that.
We're gonna head out like 9:10. We done.
You said that's
life.
All right, that's life. Okay, boom. To sort of pull together a lot of the conflicts that we see in music right now, we're at a point where I've been joking with my friends and calling it, shout out to Nye, I've been joking with my friends and calling it America's teenage years. Okay. Because if you look at the rest of the world powers, they've been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we just hitting like 2-something. So if you think about it, when it comes to how power goes, we're the teenagers, right? Uh-huh. So when you look at our society as a whole, there's a lot of ugly truths that we're finally coming to the realization of, right? So all of these ugly truths that we can't ignore, the one space where every single individual person has literally at their fingertips the same amount of power is that space, and that space, and that space, right? So public opinion and being politically correct, because we know that the world is ugly, and we can't handle that the world is ugly because the world is also broken because we broke it, and everything is falling apart. Literally, the global anxiety that is happening now, everyone has been taking it out and becoming increasingly petty when it comes to the media, right? Mm-hmm. Perception, that's why perception has so much power now, because now your actual preference can affect my whole friggin' existence, which is insane, because that's literally what petty is. Yep. But now why that is not good for creatives, why that's not, and everybody is not a creative, otherwise it wouldn't be creative.
Good.
Let somebody say that, because I don't hear anyone saying that. Literally, there's certain things that there's certain special cannot become normal.
No, you're absolutely
Everyone is unique. Certain things are special, and that has to do with the syntax of the word. But the problem is that, like you said, everybody right now feels special. So if someone is doing something special, something in me, the fragility in me can't handle that if I haven't realized my own actual unique specialness, right? No, wait, here we go. Let's let's go deeper. Wait, let's go deeper. It's not your fault. But see, like Joe said, it's life that people's opinions, because of media, will impact you. So though it's not your fault, it is now your reality because their perception is reality out here.
But it's up to me to make that choice.
Yes, up to you individually, but because we are... Wait, let's go deeper.
It's up to me. Let's go deeper. It's up to me to allow that for... Let's go deeper in the sense, like, it's up to me whether I want to take it personal.
Yes, no, but that... Right, but I'm not talking about personal. I'm still talking about the general...
Because I know for a fact, not saying you, I'm saying I know for a fact that person has not realized what is it that they need to work within themselves and find out who they are within the creative side. You understand? But if you don't know what do you want, what are you doing, and X, Y, Z, that... I wish you the best.
No, that's...
And let's keep it moving.
But that's what I'm... Wait. But that's what I'm saying. Look. No, but that's what I'm saying. I have the same attitude. I have the same attitude, but that's an individualistic thought. And right now, I'm speaking about something that is general because it's impacting us. Though it would be wonderful if many people thought like that and could objectively see... Though it could be wonderful if many people could objectively think like that, if everyone thought like that, things wouldn't be what they are right now, and personal opinion would not have so much power in public spheres.
And that's why I said it. Don't have a team.
No, but wait. But that's why I said, going back to music. Coming back to music. How it affects music is that every single person's opinion is now literally affecting what we can and can't do, how we can and can't move, because since that now holds power, it is a free-for-all. Where is the line? There is no line now. Because there's too many individuals. There's too many individuals, and they all have the equal access that we have. So it's literally about jumping ahead of all of that. Like
years ago, I remember when Facebook and even Instagram started to get going. Never until recently, last maybe I would say from maybe 2 years. You hear workshops, all kind of different things. Analytics.
Get some knowledge.
Analytics. Everybody wants the analytics, but what source of analytics?
Numbers are fake.
Opinion.
Opinion. But you know what
because the numbers are based on opinion, and opinions change. Numbers are fake.
You know what I just told somebody recently? I said, in order for me to take your opinion, this is where I'm at in my life.
Real power, though.
In order for me to take your opinion, I need to take your lifestyle.
But they got real power, though. That's the unfortunate part.
I'm sorry. You heard?
Wait. Hold
up. In order for me to take I learned this through going to entrepreneurship
right now in America.
Workshops. Wait, hold up. In order for me to take your opinion, I need to take your lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is not what I want, I'll take in what you have to say. But if you're not doing what if you're not doing what you're preaching about, why am I gonna take?
Absolutely.
That's like me having a relationship and you in a 9-year relationship, you cheating the whole time. You trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
I don't want your relationship.
And that's where the lines get blurry again because media can change everything. What you put out makes your perception. Perception's reality. One person can see that side of it, and because of that now, I can literally create a whole new world and have enough people support me, even in my friend circle, so that you who see the truth wouldn't even get believed. And that's really, again, the power of opinion right now. Like, that's why it goes back to. Let's go back to and before we end this, let's go back to I feel like what the team section is. That's why you need to learn how to not take things too personal and learn when somebody don't know. And I learned this through trial and error. So I was telling him today, somebody just asked me, how is it that you have a team? What can I do to learn to build that team? And I was like, honestly, it was trial and error. I just wrote to him and was like, it's trial and error. I surrounded myself with people who I thought wanted this. And when it came down to putting that footwork, I realized it was more of a hobby to them. Opposed to something that this is wanted. So, ties back to what you said, taking the lifestyle. That kind of works.
But they were so excited
about how it
to
looked.
show that perception, how it looks. I'm doing something dope,
and that has an effect on the
because I had to let them go. So once I let them go, the right people start coming in.
Because you had to remove them.
And this is why
they were never the right people.
They
were never the right people. They were just holding the spot until the right people were ready. So that's why they had.
I paid for their trips and not to sound like that asshole. To
Nah,
like,
you gotta be real.
You know how many people I
yeah.
paid for their trips, and this is what I wanted, and I never had it.
It's crazy.
Because
But then
these are the right people.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Like the right people weren't ready. We weren't in alignment at that time.
That's why I said, now that's what I'm at now. It's not to come off as an asshole, but it's not my fault if you don't know what you want at this point.
Right.
It took me this long
Yeah.
for me, like you said, you are at a certain age. You said it, and you're still young. You know it, but you feel like you've been doing it for X amount of time, which you have. But at this point, now you got to start realizing what are you doing wrong, what are you doing right, and now start realizing your circle.
Yeah.
And if they're not pushing harder than you are, if you were around, you gotta cut them off at this point. And
Okay, but what if you have nobody?
And that goes back to what Gary Vee said.
That
goes back to what Gary Vee said. The layers. Say that again.
Facts.
No, I was just saying because she's like, what if you have nobody? Not like that. At the end of the day, you just want to trust yourself, anyways.
And that still ties in what was said. If at this point in time you haven't, and I don't want to use the word pop, but if at this point in time you haven't hit that benchmark, because there'll always be that benchmark for us. But if then it's you.
Yeah, it is.
Because it goes back. It still goes back to your choices. It still goes back to the choices of the people around you. It's
and who you let to stay around you.
Right.
So we're gonna come back eventually. We gotta go.
Yeah,
we're gonna come.
We'll do part 2.
But you can follow them right now because they're gonna be airing the show later. Make sure you stay in tune.
Yeah.
At the
V-Henny doing
Artistry.
great things.
Man, the Artistry NY. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Artistry. I feel it.
I see.
Wait, I totally moved in the middle of that.
Oh yeah, that move.
I'm going with no.
Can you get a picture with you and?